often do we say we're going to do something, we begin it, and then we stop? We wonder why, well, like, what's the point? Why should we keep doing this? And it just, especially when we don't see results or the results that we believe that they should be. I think our perception and how we see things is very big and very important. I think at the end of the day, we need to understand and truly ask ourselves, how do we define success? How do we know when we are successful? And I think it'll be pretty surprising to ourselves. I was asked that one time and I actually didn't know how to answer, yet I kept wanting to be successful. I kept wanting to be good at whatever I do. I wanted to be just successful. And some of the definitions that I had in defining success were things that I thought were considered being successful, which was a college degree, being married, having a family. Those are probably the top 3 things that I thought that I considered success. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not successful when I don't have those things, but somehow I was underlining, like there was this underlining lie that I was telling myself that I'm not successful because I don't have those things. Now that I have my degrees, it doesn't make me successful. It's a great accomplishment, but it doesn't define me, and I think that's where the problem was. I was allowing these goals, dreams, desires to define me, and if I don't have it, then I'm not successful, or I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, the underlying thoughts that we tend to go back to. So to be consistent is to be consistent, no matter what it looks like. Even when we fail, we fall, we get back up and we keep going, we keep going, we keep going. And sometimes I can easily talk myself out of it, like I've told you before in previous videos. I can easily talk myself out of things, and I can easily say, like, what's the point of making these videos, right? They're more for myself, and it's really knowing why I'm doing it. I'm doing more for me and doing it because I feel like this is something that I need to do and that I should do for personal reasons, but also I feel like God's calling me to do something more. And this is another way of not only expressing myself and sharing things about me and how I've overcome and things that I've gained from school, but I've also had the ability to not just learn this, learn to be better in front of the camera, but also reflect on the things that I've learned and that I gained and that I can use in other areas of my life. But I think it's another way of doing something and being consistent about it. Now, I can't expect to one day, get in front of the camera and just be, whatever that I have this image in my mind. I need to work towards that. And so this is my way of utilizing the territory that God has given me. He has given me this this space, these resources, these abilities to have and to hone in and work hard and cultivate it and get better and stronger at it. And this is my chance and an opportunity to do so. I think it goes back to, we always ask God, expand my territory. I want to do all these great and amazing things. I could see it now, right? Because I say that all the time. But what am I doing to work on the skills that I need to before? So it took a lot for me to get in front of this camera, but it took a lot of consistency, of course, perseverance, but to be consistent and always working towards and doing it. And even if I make all these videos and no one ever watches them, it doesn't matter. I'm doing them first, like I said, for me. 2, to honor God and give him all praise and honor and glory for all the things that I've done, all the things that I've come through, and basically just get better at my presentation, my talking skills, my being relaxed, being confident in who I am, being okay to say whatever God puts on my heart and be able to say it and then put it on video for other people to see and hear, and not to be ashamed or have guilt or anything or fear, which is kind of hard because it's, we're all human. We all have things that we go through and insecurities at times. But can I be confident? And my confidence comes from God, because if it was confidence in myself, I'd be thinking a million other things while I'm recording this. And so can we be consistent in the thing that God has called us, even when it looks like nothing's coming out of it? Even when it looks like that there's nothing good of it, there's no purpose, there's no reason. Even though God has called you, sometimes we can give up quicker and a lot sooner because we have these thoughts, these lies, these things that we're believing, even though we know God has called us to do it. So I've learned so much, and I'm so glad that I stay consistent, because I've gained so much out of being in school, being disciplined, and continue to moving forward, even when it seemed like things were the same, things are different. And it's crazy, because as I look back, I've gained and grown, and I've learned so much from this season in my life, and I have had the ability to use this season and implement it, or basically use it in other areas of my life, different things that I've learned, to be consistent and keep fighting and pushing on and pushing forward no matter what I feel. And I think that being consistent is very important. And it's not about how many likes I get or how many high fives I get or any comments or anything of that sort. Can I be confident? Can I still do the things that God has called me to do? It actually reminds me of Ezekiel. I love the book of Ezekiel, and God had called Ezekiel to go talk to the rebellious nations. You see, God knew Ezekiel was God knew that the people that Ezekiel was going to go talk to were rebellious. But the whole point of Ezekiel going out there was that God wanted to be able to say, I had a prophet among you, you had your chance and you had your opportunity. And I can't even imagine being sent out by God, knowing that these people are not going to listen, no matter what I say, no matter what I do. All the preparation that God put into Ezekiel, you kind of feel that way too, where all the preparation that God puts into you. And can you do the very thing? Can you continuously be consistent during the process of growing and healing and all those things? And can you go out and do the very thing that God has called you to do? Same thing with Jonah. He ran instead of going to Nineveh. And so I think that God creates these opportunities, or allows these opportunities, so that we can have this consistency in us, so that wherever He calls us, wherever He takes us, wherever He leads us, that we'll do it regardless, and we don't question, because we're being consistent in our obedience, we're being consistent in what we've been called to do. It's about being consistent and always doing it, and not just doing it, but doing it with a loving and a giving heart. And it's all about what's within here. Now, there's going to be moments where you just don't want to do that. And I'm pretty sure, just like Jonah, he did not want to do it. There's many things that we face, and a lot of struggles and things that, I don't want to go write that paper that I have to write. But it's coming to a point of, you're not always going to feel like it, but coming to a place of humility and coming before God and saying, God, I really don't want to do this, but I want to, because I know you're calling me to do it. I know that you're trying to teach me something. You're trying to grow me in this area. I have no idea how or what or anything like that, but I want your will to be done. And if that's all I got, then He'll give you that strength. He'll be your strength. He'll be your courage. He'll be whatever you're needing, that motivation, that inspiration, whatever it is, and He'll help push you through. And I always refer back to writing the papers, right? I have 10-page paper, 15-page paper, 20-page paper. And I remember whining like, I don't want to write this. And I didn't. I was just done writing papers. And I remember praying and asking God, please, God, I need to write it. I've come too far. I've worked too hard. I don't want to fail. I know you've called me to learn and grow in whatever area that this is going to help me in. I have no idea, but at this moment, I just don't want to do it. Don't feel like doing it. I see no purpose. You just kind of go in this thing. But I know that you have a purpose and a plan, and I know it's a good one. Help me. And as I took a deep breath, and I really gave it to God in this struggle, and I know it's just a paper, and this is just a mere example of life, He then, all of a sudden, I have this desire and inspiration, and I'm all of a sudden typing away and reading my different articles that I need for my references. And God showed me something there. I'm not always going to feel like I want to do things in life. I'm not always going to want to face certain trials and certain things in life. But what He will do is, if I come before Him and lay down all that I have and am, and desire to do His will, He'll fulfill the gap. He'll help me through the gaps that I'm lacking, and I will succeed, and I will get an A in life.